Today we play golf.
Let me show you how we do it in the pros.
Welcome to Behind the Golf Brand Podcast.
I never miss with the 7-iron.
A conversation with some of the most interesting innovators and entrepreneurs behind the biggest names in golf.
My friends with the golf clubs. I lived on the golf course. I lived on the driving range.
From pro talk
You should learn something from each and every single round you play.
to fun from on and off the green.
Why would you play golf if you don't play it for money?
Just let me put the ball in the hole.
This is Behind the Golf Brand Podcast with Paul Liberatore.
What's up, guys? Paul from Golfers Authority. Welcome to the Behind the Golf Brand Podcast. We are on episode 78. Crazy. This week, I have my good friends from Needle Golf. I've known Needle for probably two and a half years. I talked to Trip on the phone and connected, and I was blown away by how cool their belts work. I've never seen this in the golf industry, to be honest. So I'm really excited to have them on the show to kind of talk about their journey, because they've done a lot in the last 2 years and are growing like crazy. So without further ado, I welcome Trip and Andrew from Needle Golf. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Yeah, thanks, guys.
So how are you? Where do you guys live at? That's my first question.
We're both Connecticut-based, actually. I'm in Hartford area, and Trip is down south in the Greenwich area.
How did you guys meet? Like, are you guys like golf pros or something, and you guys like met up that way, or are you just like what? You guys just
Andrew's closer to a golf pro than I am. No, we met at our club up in West Hartford, became fast friends, and I latched on to Andrew because he's a stick. And
he's good. Like he's your hat.
Oh, I rode,
hack, and he's the stick.
I rode him all the way to a member. But no, we just became good friends and golf partners, and our wives are friends. So it's been fun watching.
You become like good friends. Like your relationship has grown over the years. Like into really.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yep.
It helps when you win a golf tournament together. So we want a member, and then once you do that, it's like you're buddies for life, and you're.
What do you guys get when you win a member? Like, do you guys get like a prize package or something?
No.
You get a big trophy that you fill with beer, and then you drink it in the bar, pretty much. So.
and then
you get some gold paint on some old mahogany down in the locker room.
There you go.
Yeah, that's cool. See, like, there's not a lot of places in Arizona that have them. Like, I know there's member clubs here, but not like it is out in the East, So it's like a little.
We use so much good public golf out there that it's like, it's incredible the amount of golf that you have out there. We don't have that in the Northeast really that much. So you're kind of, if you're a serious golfer, you really kind of have to join a club. What
does it cost to join a club like out there? Like 20 grand, 15 grand, 10 grand? Or it just depends on the quality?
That's highly variable depending on the type of club. And you have the Uber exclusive, which gets pretty expensive, and then down the line, more or less. Kind of like everywhere else, more or less. But
I've seen like clubs like in LA area, and I had somebody on the show once, and they remembered a club. So I went and Googled the club after the show, and I looked at the buy-in. I was like, what the hell? And then, that was just a buy-in. And then after that, like the dues, I was like, holy crap. Like,
oh yeah,
it's like a house payment. Or not even a house payment, it's like a house, buying a house.
Well, the best part about Connecticut, I will say, in the Northeast, is that there are different levels all the way around, and they're all nice. So it's just really what you're into, whether you want a golf club or a full country club or things like that. But it's there are a lot of nice places that of differing levels of investment that you can get into.
So let's start with it. What are your guys' background? Like, obviously, were you guys like, oh, we're belt makers, right? Like, I don't think that's true. What were you doing, or what are you doing when you guys started Needle Golf, so people kind of understand like your journey in doing this?
I had a background in golf, and Trip came up with the concept of basically a needlepoint putter head cover, a blade type idea.
I still have mine, by the way. You want to see it? Hold on, keep on talking. I'm gonna show this.
Oh, sure, yeah. And he approached me one day and just
daily driver. Look, on my daily bag. See?
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I use that on my bag all the time.
Totally.
I saw it. I was like, I gotta show him.
No, they're pretty durable. It'll last forever. But it was Tripp's idea to come up with that concept. It had never been done, putter head cover with 100% hand stitched needlepoint. And he approached me about it, and I was intrigued. And we decided to play around with it. And we went through probably how many prototypes, Trip? Like maybe 30 or 40.
Yeah,
really?
I've got one of the originals I'm staring at across my office up on the shelf. I think the original prototype that we did. Yeah, it's pretty horrific compared.
It was
to
challenging.
It took us a long time of R&D because we wanted this thing to be perfect, right? And being serious golfers, we wanted to make sure that not only was the product of the highest quality, but that it was easy to use and looked great. That takes a long time, especially when you're designing something from scratch.
Like in your mind, you knew what you wanted to make. It's just like,
Right.
it's not conventional. It's not.
You get down to things like, how much, what's the internal lining, but how thick should the interior be? How long, not only just the dimensions, but then, okay, I think we spent months on just the magnets.
That was
finding a
big
strong
one,
magnet.
Yeah.
Actually
You get them either too strong, you'd sit there and you'd be like, oh my God, or they'd be too weak, and that doesn't serve a purpose. And we
magnets are
definitely
expensive too. They're not cheap. Like, they're expensive.
Right. We definitely did not want to go the Velcro route. So we wanted this to be a premium product, but that was going to be performance driven.
Yeah, it's like it would cheapen the product, right? It's really cool needlepoint thing, and also you have Velcro at the bottom. It's kind of like you want it all be uniform as a quality.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So anyways,
how many? So you went through how many prototypes before you actually came up with the first one? Like, would you say 30?
I think at least 30 or 40. Yeah. I mean, it was back and forth, and then we had the size and the shape we modified, and then to Tripp's point, the magnets were a big challenge, trying to get the weight and the closure to be secure without being overly tight.
And then also too, when you're dealing with needlepoint, these are all hand stitched, right? So we're having to train our team on, which is done in Asia, on how to actually stitch it and be uniform within the tolerances, right? Because they have to be consistent in the quality and the specification.
Can't be all over the place. I mean, it's like art, right?
So that we would get batches in and we'd go through them and be like, no. Mm-mm. So there was a lot of, whenever you start off, there was a lot of like kind of trial and error and the like. But we finally figured it out.
What year did you guys start the idea and actually say, hey, we're going to try to really do this? What year was that?
2017 was the beginning, and kind of in the fall of 16. And then we, once we had the design right, I had the people that run the PGA show, who I have some friends there, they reached out to us and said, we really want you guys to come to the show. And we literally had one product, more or less, and we were kind of debating about it, like, should we do this? So they convinced us to come down, and we basically went down there with a bag full of samples and had a card table with some catalogs and pretty much launched with one product. And we were kind of half crazy, I guess. But the response was like through the roof. We were blown away. So we were like, okay, I think we have something here. And we got a number of orders out of the show, and we were kind of off and running from there. And then we've just pretty much kind of expanded the product line. And the natural progression was from a blade putter head cover to a mallet, which was equally as difficult, probably harder, I think, even to design. And then we've just kind of grown it from there across the board.
Yeah, I think that was the coolest part for me. I mean, I didn't know what the hell I was doing in the golf.
Anybody? I mean, seriously, man.
And Andrew was like, all right, this is what to expect. And your partnership can last when you're like setting up at a card show, at the show at a card table, and you're spending 14 hours a day there
on your feet. And you paid
you're
money to be
exhausted.
there.
You're so tired at the end of the day that like all you want is like a beer and like a burger and just go to bed. And but it was such a learning experience for me, and I think what gave us kind of the incredible motivation to continue is that we'd have these clubs, not just that everyone knows, but all sorts of people stopping by, seeing us and being like, wow, that's really cool. No one's done that before. And I think that's the cool thing about the PGA show is that if you have a good product, it doesn't matter where you are, like in terms of like the location in there. I mean, obviously it helps if you're in the center aisle, but you're going to get people's attention. That gave us a lot of motivation. We're like, what else can we do? And that's where we, kind of really exploded from there.
So I've heard different things, right? Because some people go to the PGA show and they don't, like, they think they're gonna get their big break, right? And they don't, and they're all depressed. But you're telling me, which I think is cool, because it's the opposite of the coin, because I haven't heard it, is that you did get the feedback you guys needed, and you did get the initial orders to really get it going, right? Because it was almost like a concentrated amount of people to actually give you feedback and say like, well, this is cool, we want to buy it, instead of rolling the dice and putting it on the internet and seeing and running ads and seeing if somebody likes it, right?
Yeah, I mean, for us, in my background, I had a lot of contacts, which did help in the green grass, which is that's basically slang for pro shops and whatnot. But so it initially it was helpful to kind of get some information to those people. But that being said, that was preliminary. But once we got to the show and to Tripp's point, we had the people at the PGA show were great to give us a right on the aisle, kind of like a new product type location.
Oh, that's cool. Like
so
buried like in the back where like no one finds you.
Yeah, no, we were basically right on the aisle on the entrance to the lunch area and the.
Yeah, so we got everyone.
Oh, yeah, prime real estate.
Oh yeah,
Andrew's using his hookups right there.
Yeah, so
like,
that was
put
useful.
you by the bathroom in the back next to the whatever that
Yeah, I think that was very helpful from a traffic standpoint, but also when you have something new and different, and that's what gets people's attention. Even the highest end pro shops in the country, they're always looking for something different. They don't want to be like the club down the street. So if you have something that's innovative, it's going to get people's attention, and if it's of high quality, then that's going to help even more. Because
that's what they want. A pro shop, even especially like the nicer pro shops want nice stuff, right?
Exactly.
Like, I feel like over the last couple of years, there's been a lot of brands, and I feel like they overlook green grass because they're just so focused on online retail sales, and so it's like it's the old established way of doing business, and I think like the brands that are doing really well have gone back to doing both retail and putting it in green grass, than just doing online. Because I know people who like blew it up last year and they're only green grass. They had like a small website. They didn't do jack, but they had a lot of green grass, and I'm like, holy crap! Like that's because I think it's harder work, right? To seriously, you got to establish relationships with all these people and all these golf courses, all this stuff. It's all work, right? It's a lot of work. It's easy to throw money at an ad on Facebook.
Well, I think, yeah, and I think for us it was like, all right, where can we be good? Andrew had so many contacts in that realm that we said we knew that we had one product that worked, that was really good. And then we started getting feedback from the pro shops and getting a ton of traction. And they're like, do you guys do belts? Do you guys do this? Do you guys do that? And that's where we started really building the brand that way. So we built it with kind of our core competency of, hey, look, we've got cutting edge product that's really cool. And we can build our brand this way. And then we can start to focus on the retail direct to consumer, the e-com and the like, or retail shops thereafter with our own designs. And that's where we ended up going. But I mean, we still are, we still have a very loyal, we're very lucky. We have a very loyal customer base with, with our large club following and clients. But I think going back to it, I mean, you look at the evolution too of like pro shop, and like growing up, it was always just old stodgy stuff that was in each pro shop, right? And now, I mean, you go to even, some of the old school places and they have G4 shoes. They've got, you name it that's in there. I think it's the evolution of kind of the golf market too, that people see things in retail and they're like, well, I want my club logo on that. That's where, fortunately we kind of hit that groove of where that was.
So what year did you guys go to the show? Was that 17 then?
Yeah, it was 17 was our first one. Yeah.
And so then before that, had you had any sales yet or no?
I think we had 1 or 2 orders. I mean, very light. It was, we basically just kind of launched with it. So yeah, it was eye-opening though. I mean, when we would send information around, the feedback was immediate and it was really positive. But until you're actually in front of people and you're presenting the product, it's really hard to get a read. And that's coming out of that show. We were like, wow, I think we definitely have something here. And how can we expand on this?
So you go to 17 show, and then how many product lines or products did you have? Did you have the putter cover, like the regular one? Basically just the one. Yeah, we just had a blade putter head cover, more or less.
I mean, with aspirations to grow from there, and we had some ideas. But to Tripp's point, once we started establishing with the putter head covers, all of the our existing customers started asking us, well, what about this product? What about that one? And
it opens to the floodgates, and they give you guys ideas, right? That you
And also, too, you know, we went into this kind of as a passion project. I mean, we have no investors. It's Andrew and me and our, you know, basically our wives. We're the ones who invest in this. So, yeah, those are bosses. So
yeah, we're the bosses. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of it was, hey, do you mind if we invest in it? Like, so, and
Dude,
you know,
look at what I'm doing.
Yeah.
This is like my.
And oh, by the way, I've got to go down to Orlando for 5 days in January. Yeah, so I'll see you in 5 days. So,
They're like, good, get the hell out of here.
Yeah. But no, it's great.
I'm going to go on a ladies trip. You're like, go ahead, it's fine.
Yeah.
I gotta get some brownie points.
But I mean, I think that was the key thing. And then from there, it was natural to go from mallets to belts, key fobs, wallets. And I think the belts were really what really moved the needle for. I mean, the head covers were outstanding, and got us in the door and continue to get us in the door because they're different and they're high quality and the like and the performance. But we took belts and we said, how do we get something that we would want to wear? And, you know, that's really good looking, but rugged in terms of its durability, and it's not going to break, and you can wear it to, you know, to a party, or you can wear it on the golf course. And I think there was a gap in the market there, and we jumped into that.
So that was like your progression then. So where was belts, I guess, in that progression towards the end of that, where you're at now? But once you hit that was like it's like a rocket ship, right? You're like, now you're taking off.
It was because, well, frankly, once we proved that we could do head covers, the rest of the stuff is fairly easy.
Yeah, right.
And it's easy once you have your supply line and you're designing and everything. These are
manufacturer and everything.
Yeah, and so we started doing the belts, and you know, I think getting feedback and just the quality level was just unmatched. The buckle, the ends, the way the stitching was just unmatched. And so we took that and then really then started coming out with, you know, our catalog was expanding so fast that we were having trouble keeping up with like our sales teams with getting the latest and greatest product in the catalogs. So, you know, now then we did trucker hats, which no one does. We've got,
I just saw that on your site. I was like, that's new. I've never seen that before.
And I think one of the cool things that we started getting, Andrew, again, had some good contacts in the press, like Golf Magazine, Golf Digest, Links Magazine, Golf Channel. You know, they did stuff on us. We started getting a lot of press, but we had the product to back it up, right? And then we started coming out with some of our own designs, and that really would appeal to, you know, kind of the golf geek, if you will. And like we did template holes, which was probably, you know, one of our first big designs, which was based off of, you know, Seth Rayner and C.B. McDonald. And we did some of their template hole designs, and it was great because we were kids in the candy store with what we could do. And being golfers the way we are, we were like, hey, let's do this. Do you want to do, you know, things like that? Like, you know, I got prototypes sitting on my desk right now. This is a ball marker that we're going to be coming out with. Don't tell anyone, podcasters.
This is live stream right now on YouTube. So.
That's a good point, Trip. I mean, that's the beauty of this, is that, you know, we're the brain trust at the same time, and we're just pretty much just nerd golfers. We love to play, and we're serious about
There's so many
game.
tongue-in-cheek things that golfers only understand, that when you
absolutely
do it and they see it, they're like, "Oh, that's hilarious!" Like you have to explain it to somebody if they don't understand the game or the movies or
whether it's Caddyshack or of course.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like I was telling somebody we did a Chubbs towel. And they're like, "Who's Chubbs?" And I was like, "Seriously, you don't know what Chubbs is?" Like,
we have a Chubbs belt.
You should have Chubbs belt. That's so funny. Yeah.
You know, it's like you got to. It just, I don't know. Do you find so like some of the designs you've done, like I just saw on your site, like are you doing kind of licensing deals with anybody? Like are you able to, like, how does that work? Or are you not doing that? I was just wondering.
The only license that we did was with the PGA of America. We did the Ryder Cup,
Oh, that's cool.
which was pretty exciting.
Yeah, that was huge. Andrew nailed that one for us, and that was, I mean, getting the Ryder Cup was pretty darn cool.
Just to be involved in that event in any way, shape, or form. I mean, it was pretty exciting to be involved in. And just working with the PGA, who's, they're obviously a class act. So being a pure golf brand, for us to be invested in that type of event was pretty great. But we've done some pretty fun stuff with, as it relates to the music environment, like with Fish. We did a kind of for people that are fans of that.
Like Fish?
Yeah, Fishman, the print, and we
that reminds me of college, dude.
Yeah.
Well, we give a portion of the proceeds to their foundation.
We do, yeah. So we give 10% of all proceeds from that to the Water Wheel Foundation, which is actually Trey Anastasio, the lead guitarist there, his pet project for addiction and things like that. So we have a very good relationship with them.
I haven't heard Fish in so long. Oh my god, it brought me back, like, seriously, college.
And we've got, we have different licensing deals that we do from time, like we've done the BMW Championship, PGA, and different universities, things like that. But
you have to go through the whole process for licensing, like the whole process.
Yeah, it's laborious, but certainly, you get it. People, you got to protect the brand and the trademark.
So, did you have to patent anything you're doing, like your designs, or is that?
We actually did explore patenting our original product. Like
I was thinking about this, right? Because no one had done something like.
We almost did. We probably should have, because it was promptly ripped off, unfortunately. But yeah, no, we looked into it, but it's like, I mean, at the end of the day, we basically kind of determined, what, we're going to just go with it and do other products too, and it just wasn't really worth it.
It's kind of like, what do you
cost, right? It's a huge cost involved.
It's cost, and then how do you really protect it? And you're going to really sue somebody.
You have a huge ass war chest. I mean,
right.
Yeah, and I mean, where we focused on was obviously trademarking our brand, and
you have to do that. If you don't do that, you're stupid.
Right. And
I tell a lot of brands, I'll talk to brands. I'm like, "Oh, did you trademark? Or did you copyright? Did you do any of this?" No. I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Right.
I can go make your logo right now and use it if I wanted to. Like, I always wonder that's kind of the balance, right? Because you have a really cool product, but then the question is like the protection of that IP and the cost of that IP. And even if it is innovative, and yes, you can get a patent for it, and you spend a lot of money, on top of that, you better have the war chest to like defend it. Right?
Yeah,
because
it could cost you a fortune just to defend the patent with legal fees and all that stuff, obviously. So I mean, the big thing to your point is you protect your trademark and all that stuff.
And that's low hanging fruit. It doesn't even cost that much money. That's like and it takes a year. Like if you do a trademark, dude, that takes a year. I mean, from the moment you apply.
Patent stuff is so tricky too, because then it's how much of a change have they made in the product? Does it apply? And it's like, we're like, do we really want to go down that road of consistently trying to defend that?
All your money, time, and energy.
Do we want to spend our time
more and more of these? Like that's. I mean, I have this conversation with brands all the time. Like that's the balance, right? Like, everyone has like 7 patents on his one product, right? And then
the goal for us is really just to kind of continue to innovate too. So it's like, I mean,
right.
We have that in our portfolio, and it's still an unbelievably great product. But we're always thinking ahead in the sense that, like, what can be the next thing? Like, what? I mean, we could take anything.
It's a race. It's really a race, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Like you can stand back there and take your time and like figure it out, but then, or not figure it out, but like do what you need to do legally, right? But then it's like you're wasting so much time that you could be selling the new design of this and more of these other things, and it's like in 20 years from now, is that really going to matter? That's a good play if you decide to sell your brand at some point and somebody wants that IP. But it's like, really?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for us, it's about creativity and, what's
the fun part of it, like not the BS.
Right. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are creative as hell. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
No, thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah,
We try.
to be different.
Like I love how you're transitioning to, like, you're not just doing like, oh, it's a head cover. Then, like you said, you went to the belts, and now you're doing those member bags, like those carry bags that like are embroidered. Like you're making all the right products for like that for the golf world, I guess is the better way of saying it.
Yeah, and we think of it as like, what would we want to use too? I mean, again, being serious golfers is like, well, what could we use in on our daily basis when we're playing golf? What would make it more enjoyable? And then we test them too. We take them out, and any product before we bring it to market, we beat the snot out of it on the golf course and test it and make sure it's up to our standards as well.
I freaking love your Chubbs belt. That's hilarious.
Oh, we can probably get you one.
I gotta show you my Chubbs towel. I'll show you after the show. My Chubbs towel is sick. It's funnier now. It's like, I just love playing. That's the best part about this, I feel like, is playing with the history of the game. You know what I mean? That only some person would understand what you're doing, right? Whether you're a gearhead or if you like the movies or, I don't know. I just think it's cool. What did you guys start like going into other products? And like, was it like in 2018, or did you go into new products right away, or did you kind of like ease into it?
Pretty much right away, actually. I mean, once we started getting some accounts, and right after that initial PGA show, that's when we got requests for new and different stuff, and so we went right to it. Honestly, I mean, I think belts and wallets, key fobs, and that type of stuff was kind of our next iteration, and then. I mean, we have weekly conversations about what's the next thing going to be, and what can we do different. So
it's cool because what you're doing, you're taking needlework and you're literally putting it on whatever you think would be cool. You know what I mean? And then on top of that,
pretty much,
aspect of it. Like the hat's brilliant. Like, I've never seen that ever. I've never seen a hat like that. We
also, I mean, to your point, you could pretty much put it on anything, and also we think of it as like, how could we make it better too? Like. We have a needlepoint wood head covers, and we saw, how could we take that and make it interesting? So we decided, all right, instead of just doing like a little patch of needlepoint, we're going to make the entire front of it full needlepoint. And we're going to use the highest quality leather possible, full grain, just like buttery soft. And we're just going to go all out and make these things as good as possible. And so it's doing that as well as how we can make things as good as possible and different at the same time.
Yeah, I think we were the Golf Channel did something on us, and they were like, you just kind of want to go inside of it and curl up because it's so soft and like warm, and it was like, it's pretty funny. We got a good laugh out of that one. But yeah, I think
there's a certain aspect to what you're doing too, which is very Americana, right? Very like, we remember stuff like that as a kid, right? Like our grandparents doing needlepoint, our parents doing needlepoint, like I don't know. I think like it touches to the soul or fabric of America essentially, right? Like, and the designs you're coming out with are not just like golf related. It's like, American related, if that makes sense in a way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, our moms, that's how we did it. I mean, our moms both needle pointed belts and things for us. So like, I think first pass from quality, we gave samples to our mothers and said, what do you think? And they were like, yeah, this is good quality, really good quality. You could tell it's hand stitched. And also not only that, but there are different aspects of needlepoint, like petty point, and different pieces that go into the more intricate designs that you have to do. And what it means is like smaller stitches for the more intricate design, as opposed to just doing one color swath where you can do larger stitches. So
you're doing almost like some of your stuff, you're literally drawing a scenery.
It's art. I mean, it is art.
It's like cross stitch. I mean, it looks like someone's cross stitched a ocean or a boat on it or whatever it might be. Like, So what are your biggest sellers right now? Like, what's the most popular, would you say, of all the stuff you're building or make?
Product wise, it's probably it's belts. I think 100%, and especially green grass. But even web sales as well. I think. Would you agree, Trip?
Yeah, I mean, our web sales. So I think that's kind of the evolution. We went from green grass to then building out our website and hiring a team to manage that for us, and then basically doing our own designs, which we're continuing to build upon, and that's exploded for us, and it's been outstanding.
Your
you look
builds are
at
sick.
thanks.
I mean, when I met you, you had one product. It was this. That was it. I remember that. That was all you. I mean, you just released. You just had that. I knew you did belts like the last couple of years, but like.
And look, not every product or design that you come out with is a winner, right? You come out with some stuff that you think is good, and you're like,
it crashes. And you're like, what the heck?
That's been the biggest eye opener for me.
That's the best feeling in the world, let me tell you.
I come up with a design and I'm like, Trip, this is it, baby. People are going to love this. And then it's like, we do another one and we think it's not going to be that great. And that's,
it's a numbers game. You just don't know what's going to make people tick.
Right.
It's that's just very eye-opening.
I think we do, and then we don't. And then the thing you didn't think would do good does great. And you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I just have no idea.
Yeah.
100%.
It's so weird like that. It sucks. I wish I could be. It's like you wish you were psychic, essentially.
But I think, but to that point, like we talk to friends of ours, or even like Andrew and I are in our 40s, but like guys in their 20s, and we look at the demographics, and we're like, what would you buy? Like, what designs do you like? And we have people right into us and they're like, we love it if you design this or did that, and you know what? I don't care as long as it's of a valid design of good taste. We'll give it a shot. So I think that's too.
Would you do like a limited run once you have an idea? You don't go make 1,000 of them, right? You probably do a limited run to see if they're any good. Do people really like that design, right? And if they do, it's like, okay, cool, let's make more. Is that how you guys do it, or do you just build like like your MOQ, like you don't.
And that's kind of my background. My background's more in the operational side, so I cringe if we're going to take on huge inventory. So we've done it such that we do the test runs. We see how
I hate that feeling, dude.
How they work.
When you do a test run, you think it's like you have to do whatever the MOQ is, and then it's like it's still a big swing, right? I mean, it's still a chunk of change. It's not like, it's not like it could be worse, but it's still.
No, it's definitely a lot of investment, but it's like you just think about what works, what doesn't work, and then you keep tweaking it from there. And then you build you put your chips on that bet.
Yeah, and I think that's the key, right? Like it's probably that allows you to be nimble enough so that you guys can come up with new designs, test the water, say if people like it. All right, cool. Then that's going to be part of our catalog, essentially. If it's not, then we'll just they'll fade away, right? Like, and we'll rinse and repeat. And I think that gives you the advantage over the much larger companies, right? Because they're just it's different.
Yeah, definitely.
So what's new for you guys this year? Like, what's coming out? You got anything? You said the ball marker, which you kind of showed, might be coming out. But what else? Like, is that, or is there anything else, or are you guys continuing what you're working on already, and new designs essentially?
So I think we have a number of new designs that continue to come out. We also are working on other iterations of headwear that will be coming out.
You should make a beanie, dude.
And then
that's my idea to put down right now.
Yeah, I think we also just different types of styles of our head covers that we'll be coming out with. And then, it's really just what we see that we want to use. And, there are times when Andrew and I look at something, we're like, well, I personally would never use it, but I see a lot of people using it. So yeah, let's go down. So, things that are more practical in the use. But also I think one of the coolest things that we've come out with are children's wear. So we came out with children's belts and hats. So I have 2 little boys, and they love our, we did a belt for zoo animals, a belt for construction trucks, and little performance hats for them. And, I think that's where you start to see your demographics change, because now we're starting to get really people who aren't necessarily golfers who are buying our stuff, which is
especially like if grandma sees it or grandpa sees it and it's at a pro shop.
You got it.
Oh, that's cool. I'm gonna get that for Billy, right, or whatever. Mm-hmm. And they would see. It's funny because look where you started 4 years ago, essentially.
Yeah.
Right. And like you look at the trajectory and the direction, you probably never would have thought in a million years. You guys probably thought we'd be making head covers or needlepoint. It'd be cool to make some other stuff too. But now you're like, oh, now we're making belts for kids. Like, it's kind of like, where do people want the product?
I think that's the thing too, is that there's so much. I mean, we've been really lucky. Obviously, worked our butts off, but there's so much opportunity now that it's a matter of the time investment and how you continue to scale up in that regard.
I'm really happy for you guys, because I thought it was a cool idea when I first met you, and I'm like, I just remember a conversation, so I think it's really cool to see how far you guys have grown in such short of a time.
Well, you too, Paul. Your company, Golfers Authority and Legion now. I mean, you're crushing it, and really appreciate all the work that you've done and all your success. So, thanks for having us on.
No, I'm happy. I'm really, I love it. I think it's cool. You guys have a really special niche, and I think I don't see anybody coming close to you in regards to this. And I know it's a good market. Like belts, especially needlepoint belts, those are sick. So,
thank you.
Well, I want to say thank you for being on the show today, you guys. Where can they find you if they're looking for you guys on the internet?
Needlegolf.com and Instagram at needlegolf. Really, you can find us probably in your pro shop or online, or maybe soon to come some retail stores as well. We're growing the retail side as well. So the brick and mortar as well as the e-com. So, yeah.
Well, great. Well, I will see you guys in the next episode.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Behind the Golf Brand Podcast.
You're gonna beat me at golf?
Stay connected on and off the show by visiting golfersauthority.com. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment.
Golf is always more fun when you win.
Stay out of the beach and see you on the green.